SmokeySteveAndMarc.
I'm Mark.
I'm Steve.
Oh, yes, and welcome to, what is it? Story time. Steve will try it.
Thursday is like kind of a crapshoot. It could be one of like 4 kinds of videos can come out on a Thursday.
On a Thursday, right?
So.
Yeah, but we thought we'd do something, I guess, a little different. Well, it's not, I mean, we've done them before.
We've done it, but it's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. So we thought we'd do a little real talk tonight.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be checking in first. Mark will be checking in next, and then we'll reconvene at the end, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds good. And it is long overdue. I know I was promising it all last month and never did it.
Well, here we are.
Good opportunity to do it. So I'll let you get on with your thing.
All right, you're on deck.
Okay, I'm next. I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, well, hello everyone. Hope all is well. Hope you're looking great, all of you. So, tonight we're gonna do a little bit of a check-in on, remember we had resolutions about 6 months ago? Check in on how those things are kind of going. I have a birthday coming up tomorrow. I will be 41, and I have a couple thoughts on that, but not as many as I worried. I got 2 cats looking at me right now over here. And just kind of check in with that. So usually the thing I check in with first is mental health, because that's my big, thing. And things have been pretty much a little better. I'll take it a little better. A couple months ago, I was having a terrible time getting up, going to work every morning, even on a weekend. The first hour of being awake, I would be paralyzed with anxiety and fear and crying and still trying to do my shit, so you weep and then brush your teeth and head out the door and go face the world. And there was a handful of days I couldn't keep my face and had taken off a day here of work, a day there of work, to try to give myself a break, because the amount of relief I would feel I like my job. I'm pretty good at my job, and I work with great people, but the idea of it just made me sick to my stomach. So we stayed sick. I had a lot of turkey tetrazzini, Stouffer's, I think it is, because it's my go-to bland tummy food. A lot of Alka-Seltzer, Pepto, Bismol, baking soda, that kind of stuff too. So, but that seems to have subsided, or the anxiety associated with it kind of subsided a little bit. So far, so good with that. I did have a couple shrink appointments. I had one that was like 45 minutes. It was like a re-intake kind of thing. They do it every year or so. You have to review like all your meds and your old symptoms and how are you doing now and all that. So I had one of those. And their suggestion, because I was dealing with morning anxiety, was to take something for anxiety in the morning, which is hit and miss. I think a lot of people find it odd that you would wake up first thing in the morning, groggy, and yet have your heart pounding out of your chest because you're in terror, anticipating what the day could bring. So I tried that suggestion of taking something in the morning to help bring it down, and it worked. And then I started finding I didn't need even that as much, so I was just kind of coping. Got up a little earlier to have more time to get my nerves out. Like 9 o'clock to 10, like 7:30 to 10 is like my prime hour to ruin the whole day. I might have a passing mood that's like, screw work, I don't want to go in today. Next thing I know, I find myself using up my paid time off, texting my boss, saying the truth, which is that I'm losing my fucking mind and I can't come into work today, on short notice. But, that is the nature of mental illness. I don't get a lot of notice when there's a manic episode starting, so I can't really give too much to anybody else either. But so it goes. So things are stable, not dealing with too many other symptoms, a little bit of anxiety, but that's kind of how I roll. So that end, things are okay. Weight-wise, kind of plateaued. Gained more. I gained weight after the wedding. I lost a bunch of weight before the wedding, like 30-some pounds, and then gained it all back. And then have started losing a little bit of it again, and gaining and losing again. And at 40, things aren't as forgiving. You start to find some of your chest on the floor. It just seems to happen that way. So that piles on into aging and getting older. And like I said, I have a birthday coming up tomorrow. And I'm not feeling as bad about it. I'm supposed to, aren't I? I'm an aging, middle-aged gay man. I'm supposed to be crying over my lost youth and going to get my hair plugs and bleaching things and getting waxed and going to the gym as much to be seen as to work out. Like, there was this whole idea that I had of what life would look like. I'm coasting much further to cat stuffed animals and taking up crochet. That's probably more of the kind of thing I would probably find myself doing. It was funny, I was asking Mark last night, I was like, do you want to go to karaoke? Because karaoke is usually in the middle of the week because no one goes, so they leave it there. And he was like, no, maybe some other time. I don't think so. I'm like, I'm never seeing the inside of a club again. And it's not because I have a thirst to go out. It's not like a midlife crisis exactly. It's just, I wonder if things I used to do when I was younger, I wonder how different they are now. I wonder how different they look. Like, I remember what a gay bar looks like when I was 18 and you could still smoke inside and it was easier to hide things to bring into the club with you. And I wonder what would that look like to 40-year-old me. And I don't know. I think about it periodically. So I have a lot of memories that end up reminiscing back to time I lived in Philly. Because it was not always so much fun. I got as sick as a person could get without dying, honestly, before I had left. And it was like 15 years ago. But I always wanted to go back. Like, have another stab at it. So, we'll see. We've had a lot of changes for 12 months. If we're going to have another big life change, maybe it could wait a few. I at least build up my stamina, drop a few pounds so I can muscle the move if we move again. But I do find myself, I guess, doing that because 40 is like, not to be glib, but I've probably lived more life than I have ahead of me at this point. So kind of the look at what have I done so far? Am I happy, sad with it? What's still left that I want to do? And how could I do it? And is it possible? And that kind of stuff. So aging in general, I'm finding to be kind of a double-edged sword. I swear the day I turned 40, weird shit started happening to my body. Crazy weird shit. All of a sudden, I'd have like a hair growing out of a weird place, like my ear, like on the lobe of it. And I'm like, how long has that been there? I'm like, since when do I have to start trimming nose hairs? Like, all of a sudden, every hair that fell off my head is growing on my neck. It's a very strange thing, bodies changing. You know, by certain centuries ago, I would have been considered elderly and wise at this age. So we'll just try to try to keep that in mind, I guess. And of course, when a new year starts, a new year, for me on Earth, what do I want to do? What's left to do in life? And how would I go about it? And how do I want to go about it? And what do I want to give my energy to? And what do I want to starve of my energy so it will be dead to me? That was a bit much, I know. But so that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Mark and I are doing good. I got a lovely gift from both my parents and from Mark separately, which I'm in love with both, I have to say. We'll show you. We'll tell you about it. But it's been nice, and I got a card from my aunt, and I know some viewers had sent some cards as well. They're probably at the P.O. box, which we get to when we can get to, and it was just nice to be remembered, nice to be noticed. And tomorrow will be the Facebook Happy Birthday parade, which is always fun. I'm like, oh, that guy I knew in college 20 years ago is still a nice guy. Wished me a happy birthday. Kind of how you check in on your friends without checking in on them, sort of. So that's what I have just coming up. We're going to keep it short. We're going to keep not projecting too far because I've found it to be useless in light of the fact that I'm getting posts on my, from 2 apartments ago, posts on my Facebook memories from a year ago when we were still in that other place before we moved here. So, like I said, I'm up for life to have some unpredictability and changes. It keeps it interesting. I could do for some great unpredictability, so hopefully that's in the works. And just feeling better in July, now that much better than June and about half of May. It was really hard. I was having a hard time working. I was having a hard time getting my work done and balancing the fact that I don't owe anyone my sanity, but the landlord, which means I have to sell my wares at my employer and elsewhere. So I would say midsummer check-in so far so good for me. So at this point, I want to thank y'all. I'm going to pass you over to Mark, and Mark's going to check in with how he's doing, and then we'll reconvene at the end, or maybe Mark will take you out. We'll find out shortly, okay? Give me 1 second. Mark! You're up.
Oh, I guess it's my turn. No, you know what? I do think real talks are good. I do. I mean, they do tend to be, I don't know, a little more serious, a little more heavy, a little more personal, But I'll tell you, if, like, I don't know, if one person can relate, if one person says, hey, you know what? That really helped me. I mean, that's what it's all about, really, I mean, not that it's all truistic. I get a lot out of it too. I really believe that sharing one's struggles or where one is in their life with another person is very, very helpful. Yeah, I know it can be very difficult to do that. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I tend to like to keep things in, and I don't think that's very good, but I jotted some notes down here to keep me right on track so we're not sitting here for an hour. You know how I can go off at the mouth. So anyway, but I don't know. Where we're at right now, I just want to preface everything by saying we're good. Everything, we're happy and we're good and we're managing and everything is good. But it's no secret that I've been struggling a bit recently, and I don't know. I think ever since this last move, I just haven't been the same, And at first, I did attribute it to the actual move itself and how it happened. It was jarring. It was quick. We were essentially homeless for 3 weeks, living in a hotel, all of that. But it worked out. We ended up in a nice place and relatively quickly. And then I started thinking, okay, well, it's this new place. And I started focusing on all of the things that I didn't like about the new apartment, And I had to get a hold of myself there, and I had to switch my thinking and start, kind of focusing on what I do like about the place. And I like the apartment, but at that point I started like missing the old apartment because I did like it, and almost just not liking this apartment, and I sat in that for a minute, but I do like this apartment, and it's not that, and I also had to keep in mind that at exactly the same time I had a major change in medication therapy. I completely came off of all of my old medications and started a new one, the injectable, so that was going on at the same time, So yeah, it just seems like I haven't been the same since then, but it's getting better every day, though. I'm gonna say that, But just to touch real briefly on goals, the smoking, very good. I'm at 1 pack or less a day still. No smoking in the house or in bed or on the couch, none of that. So that's something that I'm quite happy about. I may revisit it in another month or so and see if I maybe want to reduce a little more, but I'm really happy with where I'm at right now, and it was one of my goals this year, as was getting organized, and I'm happy to report that although I still could do a little better, I did get all of my bills organized, my passwords organized. If you've ever tried to do that, you know how hard that can be, and my to-do lists. I'm the type of person that if I don't have it written down, it's just all over the place, and I get easily overwhelmed, So I did get that. Now, another goal, which I had shared before, was my teeth, getting my teeth done this year, and it doesn't look like that's going to be done, and mainly for financial reasons, As you know, I have extensive dental work that needs to be done over multiple procedures, and I terrible fear of the dentist, but I accepted that, and I'm ready to do it. But the finances are, like, well, I can tell you. I mean, I need $5,000 to start it, and our dental insurance is terrible. Like a lot of people's dental insurance is terrible here in the States, and I mean, in that amount, that might as well be $10,000 or $20,000, right? Stephen and I we're okay, I mean, but we do find ourselves in that place where I think thousands and probably millions of people find themselves in, where they make enough to pay their bills, but not enough to save, and especially for multiple things, so it's a little, it's a a bummer for sure, but it's something that I'm working on accepting, and when I can do it, I will get it done. But it's another thing that is on my mind and something that I worry about, in addition to worrying about, it's progressive, it's going to get worse. Will I reach a point where I won't be able to eat? Will it affect my health? I had an infection about 6 months ago, and I mean, it'll probably happen again, so it does affect me on a daily basis. It affects my self-esteem and my self-worth. I find myself being even more shy, now. And so another thing, on my mind there. And and speaking of finances, finances can be a trigger for so many people, myself included. It's very hard to get that worry when it's a worry about finances and money. It's very difficult to contain that or to get that off of your mind. I have found. And lo and behold, this is the month that our car needs inspected, and we do need work done on it. And I have been putting it off due to financial reasons, like things, like brake shoes, and we need a rotor too, and I need a front tire, and like an oil change, things that cost money. So finances have become a trigger and have been something that's been on my mind recently. And but I don't know, there's that, but it seems that a lot can hinge on finances, right? Like when you get sick, whether it's with what I have, RA or AS or whatever it might be, the one thing they don't tell you is that it costs money to get sick. And well, I should say it costs money to treat the sickness, really, and it's unfortunate, but that's a lot of people find themselves in that situation, as I'm in, as well. On the health side of things, I did start the new medication. This will be the 6th month on the new injection, and I did tolerate it very well as far as side effects go. I do have one side effect that I'm not happy with, and we'll be addressing. I do have an appointment next week, and psoriasis, I think it's called, like the red patches on your skin. I have developed that on my feet, and it doesn't hurt or anything like that, but it doesn't look good, and I don't like it at all. I did talk to the doctor, and she sent over some steroid cream stuff you put on it, and I think it helps a little, but it's still there, and they're not entirely sure if it's from the disease itself, the RA and the AS, or if it's from the medication. Now, all I know is that I have never had this or dealt with this ever before in my life, before starting the injection, the Humira. So in my opinion, it is from that, and then so that's on my mind, and I worry that it's going to get worse. I worry that it's going to pop out maybe on my face or on my arms or something. I do know people at my work who have it completely covering their arm, and the other lady has it going up her neck, and they've had it for months, and it's unfortunate, and it's another thing that plays on your mind and plays on your self-esteem and all of that, and a frustrating feeling is the feeling that there's nothing you can do about it, and so, it's just yet another thing on my mind. And I think, what I'm trying to do with talking about these issues like finances and teeth and health and things like that, I'm just trying to paint an overall picture of where I'm at and what I'm struggling with. So when I always say, I feel overwhelmed, I feel a little overwhelmed. I feel like I mentioned this before. When I get to the point where I feel overwhelmed and it starts to get worse, the next step for that is the F-its. I don't care at all about any of it, and that doesn't help anything. That's very negative, and nothing gets done, in a positive way or a negative way or any way at all. And just nothing gets done. it's almost like apathy, and I don't want to get to that point, and I'm not. I'm not at that point, but yeah, life has been life recently, and everything is good, and I'm of course I try to stay positive. This channel has been such a bright spot in my life. At the beginning, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to be part of it. I'm kind of shy, believe it or not, and social anxiety is another thing that I kind of deal with more so like groups of people. But I've come out of my shell, and I feel extremely comfortable here on the channel, and it's been a blessing. It's been very nice, to have a place where I can be creative and have a place or a venue or a space where I can kind of show that creativity has helped me so much in the last few years. It's been a blessing, and it has helped me a lot. I can try to, put the things that bother me or that I struggle with and put them on the back burner for a moment and do something that I enjoy doing, and then be able to share it with somebody has helped me a lot, So, but I can even let that get to me, I can even let this bright spot, our channel, get to me too. Like, if, for example, there was a comment, and I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly the video or the person or anything, and that's not the point, but the comment was something like, you guys need to take a YouTube break, you seem overwhelmed with life. And of course I equated that to, this person is disappointed with our content, or our content is kind of going backwards a little bit or something like that, and I can, I'm that guy. You can get 1,000 comments, 999 are upbeat and positive, and one could be perceived as negative, and that's the one that I get stuck in my head, and ruminate about, because I think it's, that I care, I care about you guys, and I care about our content, and I do try to do the best that I can do to make it enjoyable and fun and creative, and but that comment is, I believe, and I choose to believe, and I think that it was more so out of concern, than being derogatory or negative, but it was something that stuck out to me, and it was something that I kind of ruminated on a little bit, and added to that overall picture there of being overwhelmed and things circling in my mind, So, I do try to be as positive as I can, and I do want to end on a positive note. So, I do think that the trick is, one, to be able to express it and to not keep whatever might be bothering us, no matter the things that I talked about tonight, or whatever it might be, not keep it inside and be able to share it and expose it so it's not hidden and it can't kind of fester and grow and become something that's overwhelming. Part of that is expressing it and trying to view things in a positive manner, combat those negative thoughts and those negative feelings with something positive, like take a break and go garden, for example, or do something that I like, or remember a very positive experience in my life, try to get those positive chemicals flowing up there, and it makes all of the negative stuff just a tiny bit easier to kind of navigate and deal with. And the other thing was what I talked about before was, acceptance, and accepting, life on life's terms. I'm not the only one who is struggling. I'm not the only one who is dealing with any one of the issues that I talked about tonight. And figuring out what's in my control and what's not in my control, and then what can I do to make things better, Positivity has helped me out a great deal in my life. And I know we always say that here on the channel, and from the beginning, we wanted the channel to be positive, and we've been very blessed. I love our community here, and I feel very comfortable with our community here, and I truly believe that people who are a part of this community feel the same way. We have a lot of people who we see, time and time again in our live streams or in the comments or with emails and things like that, and I know them, and I recognize your names, and even though we haven't met in person, and there's a lot, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I haven't really met anybody on here who's been negative or derogatory, which is a blessing. And we have very few trolls, or which is nice, which is very, very nice. No drama. We don't like drama here either, all that's negative, and we try to keep that at bay, as much as possible. So yeah, I do like to end on a positive note. So as far as like the health thing and all of that, I have a plan in action. I do have an appointment, and we will be discussing these things. I am trying to come off of prednisone at the moment, completely off of it, and I shouldn't be on it. At my age, I shouldn't be on a daily dose of prednisone, I've been on it for 5 years. I was on 80 milligrams for 9 months a day, and I have found that it has been very challenging to come off of this medication. As a person in recovery, coming off of any medication or even taking any other kind of medication can be challenging, can be a struggle, and I haven't been able to. I should have been off of it 6 months ago, and I haven't been able to do it. So the feelings of being a failure or being a little kid or being embarrassed about it are all there, until I realized that my doctor is there to help me. So I should express this to this person, and kind of view this whole thing as a person in recovery. Bring out that toolbox of all those things that I used when I quit that hard stuff years ago. It can be all applied to whatever I'm trying to quit, so things like that, so, but yes, I thank you for listening to me today. I hope I gave a general idea of where I'm at, and brought you up to date on everything like health stuff and goals and all that, and we're gonna end on a positive note. Everything is good, and it'll just continue to get better. So let me go find Steve so we can get together and bid you farewell for this evening. Oh, Steve, are you here?
There you are.
There. It's all done.
It's always a little bit of a to get some things out.
Yeah,
just another.
It is
another fresh set of eyes. Somebody sometimes has the input can be good sometimes. So
yeah,
it's good to kind of put it out there.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, it's I like it because it might help other people, but it also definitely helps me to vocalize it and kind of get things like that out. Mm-hmm. And I do recommend that for anybody. As hard as it is, I know sometimes it's so hard to just get something off your chest, but so thank you so much for listening to us this evening.
Indulging us.
Yeah, it was no Steve will try it, but
No, Steve will try it. Honesty.
Do you have anything to say?
No?
No? Oh, good. That means he's good.
They're both settling in. We rearranged the furniture.
We did.
And
we'll let you in on that in a day or two.
Yeah. And it's been nice. I took the day off of work today. I'm having a nice day. And I'm off tomorrow too.
Yeah.
So
for your B-Day.
Today was a day of we are not going to feel guilty about slovenly indulgence. So made my coffee, you went to work, fell asleep till noon. With my coffee in my hand.
Well, it's a day off, and it's extra special because it's your birthday. So I guess we'll just say it now. Y'all, we're going live tomorrow night for Friday Night Chit Chat and Steve's birthday. And you gotta be nice. I'm glad we're doing that.
I know. So bring your cake.
Yes, bring your cake. Bring a cake and a fork, and maybe blow up some balloons, and we'll have a little
we're having a little party.
Here. Yeah, I think it'll be nice.
Yeah. When you're 41.
I know.
Your idea of fun changes.
When did this happen?
I know. Wasn't I just a club kid?
I know.
Wasn't I? When I was 17, it was a very good year. I'm ruining my good day. So, so thank y'all for joining us, and thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell, get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that's in the description down below. Thank you, and we will catch up with you tomorrow night.
Yes,
6
we
p.m.
will. Ooh, for the live. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a nice little end of the week there. I like that idea. So, yeah, thank you again, everybody. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh.